That's right. NASA has admitted that they don't have enough funds to get their astronauts, basically our astronauts, to Mars. They're bowing out of what they said that they're going to do. They're going to achieve this goal to get man on Mars through NASA. Now they're saying they don't have enough money, and that's kind of a sad thing. But now Elon Musk has been coming in and says, don't worry, I'm going to fix everything. That's what this guy seems to do. Before we get to what he's going to do on Mars, he's basically just said that he's going to help Australia with their energy problems. He's going to build the world's largest battery, and he says he's going to build it within 100 days. He's just signed some agreements with Australia's government and stated that within 100 days, he's going to supply them a battery that puts out over 100 megawatts of power. Now, that's a lot of power. They power up a few cities with this, coming off one battery. The problem is some people think that it could be quite dangerous. Do we remember these phones blowing up in people's pockets? These lithium lipo batteries exploding? Well, it's kind of made by the same stuff, technology that has not yet been made public, apparently, and it's going to be something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Good job on Elon Musk trying to save Australia's energy crisis, but now back to his Battlestar Galactica deal. He's basically anticipates within 40 to 100 year timeline to achieve a fully self-sustaining civilization on Mars. This is not too far away. You know, NASA said that it would take us till 2030 to get anything going on Mars, like basically the first man on Mars. What his ambition is stating that he's going to be doing it, getting a person on Mars by 2025. But he's talking about getting 1 million people on the red planet living there full time within 40 to 100 years. Basically, it's not going to cost that much, I guess, depending on how you refer to money nowadays, but it seems pretty reasonable. He says that his goal is to fly 1 million people to the red planet, a basically sort of backup drive for Earth, in case, you know, something goes down, and it's going to cost $100,000 to $200,000 a person. Now, if you think about it, that is very cheap in accordance to how much it would cost NASA to get a person to Mars. We're talking about maybe $1 billion or $2 billion. Now, he's offering it for $100,000 to $200,000. Let's see. His plans were spelled out in a presentation, and this is going down as something that he thinks that could save human life itself. What's Elon Musk going to do next? He's basically also saying that this is something that's going to be far more beneficial than his Tesla motors that he put out recently. So what do you guys think about Elon Musk? What is he up to next? Is he the next Tesla? Brent just brought up this amazing guy, Tesla, one of our biggest underrated geniuses out there, has basically stated that Einstein's theories, there was a big battle going on, but I just got some new information coming in about the details on the giant Australian battery. As it's being dubbed, it's the world's largest lithium-ion battery in South Australia, and its installation is 60% larger than any other large-scale battery energy source system on the planet. It's in partnership with the French renewables company, and alongside the third stage of Hornsdale Wind Farm, the power-packed battery farm will top 100 megawatts capacity and provide 129 megawatt hours of energy generation to the region, load balancing the state's renewable energy generation and allowing emergency backup power if there's a shortfall in energy production, if there's any energy production predicted. So they got their backups. And what's amazing is we're not going to be waiting years or decades to get this. It's going to be happening very soon. He said he's going to get it done within 100 days. So I think Elon Musk has to do, and I'm sure everybody here listening will agree with me, is we got to figure out how to get this free energy going. That's what we need to do. Get this free energy, give it to us. Forget everything else. I like his effort, but I'm sure there's technology out there that give it to us for free. All right, if anybody's got a story they want to share in regards to the UFO phenomenon or what they think about Elon Musk, call in tonight. The number 347-934-0378. We're taking your calls. Blake Cousins, this is Third Phase Moon. We'll be right back. Is Elon Musk the savior of our planet? Some people hail him as a hero, but some other people say he'd be nothing without government subsidies. Whatever his agenda is, it's people's opinions. And I think he's on the right track, and he's like beating NASA to the punch on certain things, but he's not giving it to us all. And he's got something on his mind, and I think it's in a profit way of thinking. He's got to get out this free energy to us so we're not messing around with this stuff. Okay, let's bring in the callers. Let's see. Portland, Oregon may be calling in. It looks like area code 503. Hey, welcome to the show. Any thoughts on Elon Musk? You got a UFO sighting you want to report tonight? Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, how's it going? You're on the show.
Oh, great. It's going well. My name's Maureen, and I am calling from the Portland, Oregon area. And I've been listening to your show for a couple of months now, and I had an experience about, it's a good 30 years ago in the Mount Shasta area, as a matter of fact. I was outside at night looking towards the mountain with a friend of mine, and I'll never forget this. There were 3 round lights, and they were all going at the same speed in the same arc, and it looked from where I was sitting like they went right into the mountain. And it was just incredible. I couldn't believe that. And I looked at my friend. I said, "Did you see what I just saw?" And he said, "Yeah." So I know Mount Shasta is an area, that where a lot of things happen, and people have seen a lot of things. But I have never seen anything since then. But that was just really remarkable. So yeah, I just wanted.
Do you think there was maybe an entrance into Mount Shasta?
It seemed that way.
It almost seemed like you would have seen an explosion otherwise, or could it?
Exactly.
Almost sounds. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It almost seemed like they flew into the mountain, and I know that sounds crazy, but it just looked like there were these 3, and they arced in, and they were all going the exact same speed. And it just looked like they disappeared into the mountain. And that's the only way I can really describe it. So I have no idea what it was, and this was a long, long time ago. I mean, like back in the 70s. So just weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, appreciate the call in. Anybody see anything strange around Mount Shasta? Let's hear it. And we've heard from Jimmy Church recently that he's discovered a possible big opening in, I think it's Mount Adams, and he captured some photographs that are making the rounds. I'm going to try and get Jimmy Church on the show, his evidence in regards to Mount Adams of apparently a large opening appearing in the mountain itself before over a period of a day or so. So it's interesting. Are these massive mountains maybe hidden bases for UFOs? There's sure a lot of activity around these mountain formations. Okay, let's bring in the call. Appreciate that, Oregon. Marine calling in from Oregon. Okay, let's go to area code 561. You made it to the show. What's on your mind tonight? Any thoughts on Elon Musk, or have you seen a UFO sighting? Go ahead.
Yeah, he saw a black speck.
Oops, caller just dropped out. Okay, let's see. Let's go to a unlisted phone number. Let's see how this goes. You're on.
Hello?
Gotta go. Oh, gotta call back. I don't know if there's a delay or something, but you could try and call back. The enlisted number got bumped off there. Let's see. Area code 724. You're with Third Phase of Moon Live Radio.
Hi, Blake.
How you doing tonight? Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm doing great.
Good. You're on live. Any thoughts on Elon Musk, or you want to share a UFO sighting?
Yeah,
go ahead. You got the floor.
Sure. Thanks, Blake. Actually, I was calling in to to share an experience that I had with aliens, and my cousin had the same exact experience.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Oh,
yes.
thank you.
Could you speak up though a little bit, or maybe talking to
sure. Sure. Yeah.
So
let me take you off speaker.
So you had an alien experience. Tell us when. Go ahead.
Okay. So, this was in. Hold on a second. This was in late. It was late 2012. Like the fall of 2012. And basically what happened was I woke up this was probably like 4 in the morning, like really early. And woke up. I couldn't move, but I could see. And there were two like beings that were like next to my bed. So the one was short and the other one was tall, but they both looked the same kind of, they were both the same. They were just I wouldn't describe them as like gray skin. It was almost like a white skin or like a translucent skin. Like they both were kind of like but anyways, I think they were grays, but just to see them in person, it was like their skin didn't seem gray to me. It just seemed like translucent or whitish and like glowing. Anyways, so like here I am and my eyes are open, but I can't move. And I'm just looking at these two things like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And like the shorter one almost tries to like put me at ease and like try to make me kind of pass out. And like it was like the way that he was moving and like making expressions was almost like he was trying to make me laugh. So like you would kind of like and I did. Like I had a smile on my face and my head went back a little bit. And then I'm fighting it. I'm like, wait, no, I can't go to sleep. Like I have to, I'm fighting this. And so I lifted my head back up, and then the tall one did the complete opposite. He like made this like terrifying kind of expression. Like and these creatures are like so expressive. It's really amazing. And so he made this like almost ferocious kind of look at me, like to kind of, I guess, and this is just my interpretation, but I think to try to scare me so that I would like pass out that way. They just want me to go back to sleep. But I didn't pass out. I wasn't afraid. And so I'm like, so after both those things happen, I'm trying to move my hand, and like I can almost move it. So I'm moving my hand. I'm trying to touch. I'm trying to reach out so I can like touch the smaller being, which is like closer to my bed. And I do. And as I reach out and like push my hand, I touch his skin, and it was cold. It was cold to the touch. And as soon as I did that, like it was like everything froze, and they both like faded away, like into my wall. And as soon as they were gone, like the second that they were gone, I looked outside of my window, and there was a little bit of light. So it was like maybe like 5 a.m. It was dawn, and I was able to move, and that was it. And I just want to say, like, you know, my first interpretation of it was, I thought this was just a hallucination. This was a waking dream, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know anything about UFOs. I had never researched the topic. It was never something that I was interested in. But after this experience, I started just, you know, watching like History Channel stuff, Discovery Channel stuff, just the basic stuff. And then I said, you know what? I think there's something to this. Like, I don't think it was a hallucination. It was because it was so real, Blake. And I've never in my life hallucinated, you know, and it just, to me, it just seemed too real to have been a hallucination. And after the research I've done, but there's the final part of the story, just to wrap it up, I guess, is that
Go ahead. This is very educational, please.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Like I said, like I did a lot of research into it, and you know, I decided to, you know, kind of stick with my better judgment and not you know, just because I've seen documentaries and heard of similar experiences, and that kind of, I was just like, wow. Like, I would watch documentaries and hear people tell a very similar kind of experience, and it just gave me chills. And I remember one of the documentaries I watched, at the end, it was like they went to like MIT and they were asked the expert's opinion on it, and he was like, "Oh, they're just hallucinations." And I'm just like, you know, I know it wasn't a hallucination. And this Blake, this will blow your mind. So this was in 2012, and earlier this year, my cousin, she's graduating. She's like 19. She's graduating, and she was upstairs with my parents. Like, we were all visiting, and I heard them talking about UFOs. And and so I walk into the kitchen, and like she's trying to tell them something, and I'm like, well, I said, I believe in it. And as soon as I told her, I said, and then my mom and dad looked at me, and I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I had this experience in like 2012, and I went into the same story that I just told you. And she was like, her mouth like hit the floor. She's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She told me, and my cousin lives, like we live in a small town in western Pennsylvania, and my cousin lives maybe like 5 miles from me. But she had, like, I tested her, according to her, the exact same experience. She said there was the same thing with a tall alien and a short alien, and the only difference with our experiences was that she said that they communicated with her telepathically, like she could hear what they were saying, and they were telling her to go back to sleep, or they were saying to themselves, like, how is she awake? How is it, like, they were kind of confused, like, why, you know, human beings, I guess, were supposed to be asleep during whatever they're doing. And so yeah, and then the final piece of the tale is, she said that her neighbor, after her experience, which she just like me, she thought it was a hallucination. She kind of just wrote it off. But like a week later, her neighbor, who's an older woman, said, you know, a week ago there was a huge craft above your house, and I just wanted to tell you that. It was a huge blue and green light or something like that. Yeah.
No way. That's incredible. Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's you know, that's it. So, but that,
so
yeah, that's like her sighting.
you and your cousin have this experience, and none would be wiser if one hadn't spoke up, such as yourself, telling people. That must have been very uncomfortable in the beginning. Your parents, how were they treating you? And I bet you felt really good when your cousin backed you up with her testimony.
Yeah, well, it was I love my parents, and it's not that I don't feel embarrassed talking about it, but the reason that I never ran to my parents and told them, is just because I don't want to freak them out. So the only people that knew this story were my best friend and my sister before when we talked about it, and with my cousin, and I think it was more kind of making her feel comfortable. You'd have to ask her if how she felt, because it was a kind of funny moment in the kitchen, and everybody was it was when I stepped in, my mom's she was kind of freaked out because she knows I'm honest, and and I just wanted to so I was kind of backing her up, but it was just one of those things, and I've never told them because I don't want to freak them out. I just don't feel like it's because I love my parents, and they're good people, and it's they don't need to worry about this kind of thing, their son getting abducted or whatever it was,
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because you're not caring. You're caring for your family more so than yourself. You've experienced this, but you don't want to distress your family by actually sharing this experience, which is probably a natural reaction. I would advise more the other way, but you just never know. It's interesting. It's a personal experience as well. I've had my experience with the alien grays. I didn't see the taller one, but my brother and I saw 3 of them enter our room when we were at about 4 to 5 years old. But they're wearing mini jumpsuits, and it's pretty incredible and surreal at the same time. But what I really like about your story too, about your cousin's experience, is you had a neighbor that witnessed the craft over her home. Is what how it went down. That's basically corroborating the whole abduction scenario. Do you remember anything else?
Do I remember anything else?
Do you remember if they?
What
were they wearing? Were they wearing anything? One was taller. Were they the same species? Would you say?
I remember their arms were so skinny. They were almost like there was no bone. There might have been, but their arms were so thin, and I just remember like I said, the way that they can express themselves is really powerful and fascinating. They're really to me, I would tell this. My best friend's open-minded about this subject, so he's the guy I go to talk about it. And he would always say to me, "No, they're bad. You got to, Mark. No, these are." I would say, "No, I don't think so." I would say, I don't know, but just the way that the experience was, my feelings are, if they were bad, I wouldn't be here, and who knows? And I've put some thought into just what their mission could be, what is going on with them or their species, and just when watching them, the way that they went through the door, the way that they kind of just faded through the door, that to me suggests that there's something to dimensions that we as people don't understand, but maybe one day we will, as far as how their technology works, or how they're able to appear to go through solid objects. And like I said, I'll never forget the expressions. I mean, it was so human too, because just when you're having fun and you have wild and crazy friends, and they're fun, and you'll make funny facial expressions to make each other laugh. I mean, it wasn't unlike that. It was just more intense and more evolved. It was they were really able to just almost like, like the forms, like, I mean, if that makes sense, like their expressions. And they were using those expressions, like I said, in my opinion, to put me to sleep. The smaller one tried to make me laugh because, you laugh and you kind of get lightheaded, and the other one tried to scare me, like, you can scare someone and they'll faint. So I think that was their intentions, but I'm just a little too old to or I guess, I don't know, it's powerful. It didn't work on me, I guess. And like I said, with her experience, it was just they were able to actually talk into her head. I didn't hear anything, like, so, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
So they said, you said that you were a little basically intimidated, right? You were kind of startled by this experience in the beginning when you saw these things initially.
Well, I was frozen and I couldn't move. I wouldn't say I was startled, or, well, I mean, I was just fascinated. I was like, oh my God, like it was just like, it was like an oh my God feeling, but you're just frozen and you're just kind of in the moment. So you can't move, but you're observing this, and it was just unlike anything I've ever seen. It was just really crazy.
And your cousin said they communicated with her. Was there any kind of message and anything that was she relating what they were telling her?
Yeah, she said that they were first they said, why is she awake? And then they said, go back to sleep. Everything's okay. We're not going to hurt you. But she didn't basically comply. She did the same thing I did, which is keep her eyes open. And the same thing happened. They faded away after a while. If you wanted to know more,
dematerialization, almost like a dematerialization that Chinese have just done basically shocked the world. They're pretty much wanting to do what we see in Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they transmitted a photon up to outer space. This is pretty amazing stuff, and they're on the verge of something that could be exactly what you're experiencing right there, some kind of a dematerialize. What would you say? How did it exactly look? Did they? Was it like a fade out? A wispy?
Yeah.
Was there?
Mm-hmm. It was. Let me think of a good way to to compare it to something. I mean, just in my own kind of way of describing it, it was just. So they're backing. It's like they're backing away. They're floating backwards, and as they're doing so, they're just fading out and fading into the wall. And I'm trying to think of like a movie that where you could kind of visualize like what I saw. It wasn't like you said with the whole beaming up thing. It wasn't like that, but this was more of just a slow, like, fade away. It was really crazy, and it in my mind I thought to myself, dimensions. That's what stood out to me, like dimensions. Like there's in like astral, or not astral, quantum mechanics and what's the word I'm looking for? Physics. Quantum, is it quantum physics? But
maybe quantum theory, because a lot of it is still theory. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but regardless, yeah, it was. I mean, it was awesome, and like I said, with the whole like how they faded away, it was real. Just I mean, if you've ever seen like an old movie, how a scene will like fade in and then fade out using like old techniques, or like there will even be like an image and then one image is fading out while the other one's playing in the background. It was just like that, it was just nothing nothing real. That's pretty much what it was.
So you said this happened in Pennsylvania, correct? Could you tell us what town this happened at, what year? Maybe other people experienced the same thing. I'm thinking it might be maybe in your bloodline as well, being that your cousin had the exact same experience.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep like privacy and stuff. I'll just say Western Pennsylvania, a small town about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, an hour south of Pittsburgh, And me and my cousin, we think it was late 2012. Like we think it was the fall of 2012, but it could have been 2011. It could have been 2013. We're not 100%. We only talked about it once. We talked or once or twice, and we were in my car discussing it, and I think we just both came to the conclusion that it was late 2012. She was like, "Was I 17? Was I 16?" So yeah, around that time period, I would say within, and definitely like fall or something. So yeah. And as far as my bloodline goes, no one else in my family. I asked them. My parents, I think they saw, or no, not my parents, but they know somebody that saw a UFO. But that's pretty much the extent of it. So.
Well, man, appreciate you calling in. That was a wealth of information and very clear and detailed, and that's what I appreciate. Thanks for the call, man, and keep in touch if you have any more experiences. This is my pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Blake. It's my pleasure too. I'm a big fan. I love the music. I love what you do. It's really great. So keep up the good work, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, man. And this one's for you. This is from Paul Barrett. We'll play some music from our tracks on our Third Phase Moon channel. Appreciate Paul Barrett's music. You could get them all on iTunes. The links are below in the description. Listen to this. It's called Lost in Space. Oh, this music is too good. I'm just going to keep it rolling. Keep it rolling right here at Third Phase Moon. And if you've got a story you want to share, just go ahead and press number 1 on that touchpad, and we'll get to you right away. More Lost in Space. We'll be right back. Third Phase of Moon. we asked Paul Barrett to come up with a special soundtrack, and he pulled it off. Lost in Space, available on iTunes and Amazon for your listening pleasure. Thanks so much, Paul Barrett, for his sound right here at Third Phase of Moon. Always check the links below to get all his downloads so you can listen to him at any time, anywhere. Quite amazing. Thank you so much. Now, let's open up the lines. We probably got time for another caller. All you have to do is press number 1 in or on your call-in device, and you'll get taken straight to the top of the call list. And if you want to submit a video, some people say, how do I submit a video to you? It's very simple. You upload it to YouTube, whatever you captured, and basically my email is in every single description on any uploaded YouTube video that we put up on Third Phase of Moon. My email is there. So upload your video to YouTube, copy, paste it to my email along with a short description of when, where, who captured this, and if it's good enough, we'll share it on Third Phase of Moon as fast as possible. We put it out quickly. We get the opinions from the people and let them share that. And yeah, if it turns out to be bunk, we'll even delete the video. That's how we roll. We want to get out the information as fast as possible. Let the public decide what we're looking at. Let them be the judge. And if they could prove that, hey, look, this is not the real deal, we'll pull it out and appreciate the people from around the world giving the opinion and research. And that's what it's all about, getting our 300 plus, what are we up to? Approaching 340,000 plus subscribers. 400. We're approaching 400. Whoa, we're above 400,000 subscribers. Brent's telling me it's way above that. So, yeah, thanks so much, everybody out there, for your basically research and submissions from around the world. Now, let's get to area code 623. 623, thanks for calling in. You got something you want to share on Third Phase of Moon? Go ahead, you're on live.
Yeah. Hi, Blake. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, doing great, doing great. Thanks for calling in. Have you seen something strange in the skies that's not of this earth, or?
Well, yeah, Blake. I've called in before. I'm an experiencer. I've been abducted. There's basically the same. When I was about 4 years old, is when I first seen them, when they first showed up, and I used to see them hovering over my mother's backyard. I didn't know that you are also an experiencer, Blake. I didn't know that. I thought you just had a deep fascination with UFOs, but I didn't know that you also were visited when you were a child.
Yeah, my brother and I at the same time. It was in Palolo Valley in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. And we've shared this a couple times on our radio show, but yeah, we don't go into it very often. But it is an experience my brother and I had when we were approximately 4 to 5 years old, and 3 of these things came into our bedroom, and we had our twin beds, and I remember these things waddling around, making little patter sounds on the ground, and they had little jumpsuits and large. All these guys had big heads and large black eyes, and they were kind of cool. We had no fear of them whatsoever. I just remember seeing them. I don't remember them exiting or anything else. But we told our parents about it the next morning, and they were kind of fascinated with what we're telling them. Yeah, obviously we're identical twins, and who knows, maybe there's ESP. We have the same dreams. Maybe we had the same dream, but I don't know. It seems surreal and real to us.
Wow, man, it's amazing. I'm stunned by how many people I'm hearing on your show that are starting to come forward with their experiences. It's I just went through regression therapy, and although most of my memories are still blocked, a lot of memory came back also. But some of the stuff that I really wanted to see, I wasn't able to break through. What really hit me about with this regression therapy is the reality of it. It was really a slap in the face to where there's no doubt anymore in my mind at all that these experiences actually happened. It took a long time for these memories to come forward, and it took a traumatic experience for me, my mother's passing. It's when I began to remember these childhood memories and the memories that were with me throughout my life. But the regression therapy really was a big slap in the face, and it's the reality of it. It's getting to me here, Blake. I lay awake at night thinking about it, and thinking about that this is real. This is really, really actually happening. It's happening here on Earth. It's not a joke. It's not a hallucination. It's not a dream. It's real.
It's a
really
phenomenon.
happened.
It's a phenomenon that's happening around the world. And what's amazing, too, to me is like what you just said a moment ago. It's like, yeah, we opened up the phone lines on Third Phase Moon and decided to let the public speak and share their stories. And you're thinking, when is this going to end? How many people have actually experienced this? And every time we do this, there's these new stories, new encounters happening all the time, and it's really cool that people are experiencing this and sharing it in a forum. And yeah, it's definitely something's going on, and we've all seen it. And it's hard to tell people and explain to someone that this is real, especially if they haven't experienced it themselves. It's almost like faith, but there's much more evidence than just faith in this realm, for sure.
Oh yeah. That, when I look back on my life, and all of my life, I didn't have any recall as to what was happening, even while it was happening. I remember so many times as I was growing up, sitting around in the living room watching TV with the family, on watching for Sunday night TV, Sunday night family night thing, and we used to laugh about this UFO stuff, and we would say, "Oh, there's no such thing as UFOs," and I would say, "I'll never believe in UFOs unless I see one for myself." And the whole time, these experiences were actually happening, but the memory was gone. The memory was absolutely, completely gone. And it wasn't for years and years and years later. What was that? 50-something years old before the memories all of a sudden, came forth. The subconscious let go, and the doors open, and it's like, oh my God, these things actually happened to me while I was a child and throughout my lifetime. Blake, there was something that I saw during one of my experiences. There's something that came forward in my regression therapy.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Well, I remember being on the craft. I was older. I was in my teens. And I was sitting in the control room with two of these beings, and they were flying the craft, and they had a screen that was up in front of them. And with the screen, they were able to see through the walls of my house. I could look at the screen, and I could see that they were looking into the house. And I remember that they were taking me up, and when the thought came to my mind that we had just left Earth's gravity, and I felt my body beginning to float. And the strangest sensation is that the weight of my muscles came up off of my bones. It's a sensation that I'd never felt before. That's what I remember the most, was the weight of my body itself was coming up off the bones. So my bones had no more pull. There was no more gravitational pull. And as I was floating, I remember trying to flay my arms and kick my legs to try to use them as counterbalances to keep from floating. And they were useless. My arms and legs were completely weightless, and they were useless as counterbalances. And that's when a thought came to my mind that that we had just left Earth's gravity. I don't know if it was an implanted thought by them or if it was my own conclusion. But the next thing I remember after that was being inside a larger craft. It was it's what I'm sure that others have called a mothership. It's this thing was absolutely humongous. I felt like a grain of sand inside of it. I was so small, and the thing was so huge. And
I love that. I love that. A grain of sand, because the craft was so huge. Now, that's perfect. That's perfect how you would explain something like that. So how big would you say this thing is? And if you could, what shape was it? What was the lighting inside there? What did you walk on? What were the smells?
I can't remember anything like that. The lighting was dark. It was really dark and dim. What I do remember was a being taking me into a room, and there were hundreds of other people inside this room, Blake. And they were all sitting behind computers, and the computers were like teaching them, and they were.
You mean people like humans? Maybe other
beings,
abductees?
Yeah.
Other
abductees.
possibly?
I'm almost certain they were other abductees, and this was before computers appeared here on Earth. I mean, before we had developed computers. We're talking. This was back in the 70s. I'm pretty sure. But late 70s maybe. I don't remember exactly when it occurred.
There were computers. There were computers, but nothing like the way you're explaining with the touch screen and all this other kind of new technology that we're finally seeing now. But let me ask you this. Would you be willing to participate in a documentary, like come on camera and share your experience in front of the camera? And maybe we could recreate some scenes to portray some of your experiences? Would you? How do you feel about
that? I'm overwhelmed, dude. That's I would say yes. I would love the opportunity to get my story out there. Sure.
Well, this what you're telling us is, I think people need to experience this like how you experienced this. And we, Third Phase Moon, that's what we love to do. We love to share people's experiences, but we need to do it on a higher level. And we've been working on a documentary with people just like you with real experiences. And then in certain cases, the cameras can't film everything, but especially being aboard a craft and the way you're explaining this. So we're going to take down your information, and hopefully we could set something up, man, because I want to tell your story in a way that the masses need to understand and enlighten the people that have had the same exact experience, not exactly, but experience of this extraterrestrial contact, and maybe they could feel comfortable to come forward like the way you have.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's what I like to hear. I'd like to hear that there's more people out there. You know what I'd like to tell you and everybody else out there? The loneliness, man. There's no one to talk to, and there's no one to help. I've been to psychiatrists, I've been to hypnotherapists, I've been to doctors, I've been to family members, and even friends. And you know what? There's no one out there that can do anything. We're really alone in this experience, and these things have power and control over us, and there's nothing we can do. They can come and take us anytime they want to, man.
Well, we're going to be keeping in touch with you, and just stand by from a phone call from area code 808. That's us in Hawaii, and we look forward to speaking with you. What we have in mind, it's not going to take much. It just takes a little bit of effort, and we can do a lot with that. Probably a couple hours of your time. So anybody out there, you've got something amazing you want to share on Third Phase of Moon, who knows? Maybe you could appear in one of our documentaries, and we're working on one right now, and it's quite exciting. So stay tuned for that, everybody. And join us this Monday night. We're going to be broadcasting again, taking your calls from around the world. So if we didn't get to you tonight, well, we apologize, but make sure you join us this Monday and try and call in. We want to hear your UFO experience. Blake Cousins, keep your eyes on the skies. Stay safe, everybody. Things are going down, but it's all good in my opinion. The world is waking up. We are not alone. Get used to it. Blake Cousins.